Leicester aren't going to go down easy, and where this notion's coming from that Liverpool are going to be able to walk over them and get this huge result for the in the Carabao Cup next round, I'm not sure where it's coming from, to be honest. Um, it might be a lot of false confidence coming from us Liverpool fans. It might be just speculation based on the fact that Leicester have been relegated. But today I'm here to discuss why that is just simply not the case, why I think Leicester are going to give Liverpool a good game, but overall why I think the result will still go the way of Liverpool. I've given my thoughts recently on the LFC transfer room explaining this. I just want to go into a bit more detail, really. I think when we're looking at this fixture, we need to take into consideration the type of team that Leicester are, and that is energetic. They'll have a go. They will get teams. They'll make a game of it, especially under Enzo Maresca. They are playing a very similar style to Man City in certain metrics and certain categories, most notably in possession. Now, I'm just going to look at this from a. I don't claim to be a stats expert. We're just going it based on what we've seen from the past three games in the Championship from Leicester, and just how I think everything's going to go, and what my overall starting lineup would be for Liverpool to get the best result in this game and progress further in the Carabao Cup. So we start off with the first game against Southampton back on the 15th of September. Ended Leicester 4, Southampton 1. Now, people need to remember Southampton are a team that also went down with Leicester. So they're not in, it's not a team that's a pushover from the Championship bottom half. Yes, they don't have as good of a squad as them. They've sort of been picked apart by other teams. But they're still a good side. And for Leicester to go out and beat them 4-1, especially in the manner of which they did, is quite impressive. Now, I'll put the stats on the screen, or at least I'll try to now. This shows all the metrics. Now, obviously, I said possession based football. That wasn't the case in this game, but this proves that on the counter attack, they are a threat. They have quick players. Madvidi's still there. Iheanacho's still there. Jamie Vardy's still a very, very effective player at getting forward with the ball and causing problem for the opposition. He just scored against Bristol the other day. I believe he's on 3 goals already for the league. So there's still a threat there. Now, looking at the stats, Southampton had more shots. They were equal on shots on target, more passes. If anything, it looks like what Southampton did is dominated the game and kind of blows my theory out the water. But in actuality, Leicester were just too quick on the break. And this is what I'm saying about Man City is if City can't win a certain way, they find another way. If they can't, their main style of play is possession based football. But if that's just not able to be done, say against like a Liverpool or an Arsenal recently, they will just overload the midfield, try and win the ball back as quick as possible, and get on the front foot. There's different ways of winning, and that's what Leicester are doing now. They're finding ways and means to get the results that they need to get through the games. Now, if we go on to the next game, we see that they beat Norwich 2-0 on the 20th of September, and the stats in this one sort of back up more of what I'm saying with regards to Leicester. The way they play, the type of football they want to play under Enzo Maresca. They are a possession based side now. 57% possession, 559 passes to Norwich's 392, 10 shots to Norwich's 15, yes, but they got the two that count, and that's the two on target. They are causing problems for a lot of sides in the Championship, and they still have the personnel there to damage Premier League teams. And someone on the stream that I was on yesterday made a very good point that they have a squad that's good enough, that's better than 5 at least Premier League teams. You could say arguably from all the promoted teams that have come up, and then you could maybe include Everton in there, maybe one or two others. They have a better squad, and I think it's very naive to just underestimate this squad just because of the fact they're in the Championship. I mean, shock results happen. It was 1987, Wimbledon beat Liverpool in the FA Cup to knock them out. 14-15, Bradford beat Chelsea to knock them out of the cup 4-2. Um, Norwich beat Liverpool. Yes, different squad, 2010, but it still happens. And Wigan beat Manchester City to win the FA Cup. These results can happen, and they've happened for smaller teams against bigger teams. Who's to say Leicester aren't just going to come out and get at Liverpool, blow them out the water? We have no way of knowing. We're just under the assumption that because we've been playing very well recently, that the results are just going to happen. It's going to click, and everything is going to go smooth. I don't think that's going to be the case. I do still think we'll get the win. Obviously, I have to, but I just don't think it's going to be as smooth sailing as everyone thinks. I might be completely wrong, but there's something that we're just going to have to wait and see. And then we get to the Bristol City game. This is the most recent one. This one, Leicester dominated, quite frankly. Stats again on screen round about now. 19 shots to Bristol's 6, 69% possession of the ball. Man City, it's very, and obviously I know the manager worked under Pep and he's left City to go manage Leicester. But he's taken that style of play with him. He's a disciple of arguably the greatest manager of all time, next to Alex Ferguson. So he's taken that mantra with him of dominating play. And Pep said it best: if the other team doesn't have the ball, the other team don't score. And I agree with that philosophy. Teams can score obviously with less because of counter attacking, but if they can't get the ball, they just can't score. It's simple as that. 733 passes, the Bristol's 331. It just shows how they outplay teams. And now I do not think they will be outplaying us. I think, if anything, they're probably going to have the least possession because we're at Anfield and we've got the players capable. If we pick the correct squad, if we pick a side that is strong and we don't try and rotate too much because of all the competitions, then I believe we have a good chance of doing this. Now, my starting 11 that I would be picking for this game is, again, I said it on stream yesterday, I'm going to say it now. It needs to be a strong one. We can't just put in the fringe players and the young players and go, right, go on, get out there, because I think Leicester will pick it apart. And I think they're coming into this match expecting us to field a weaker team. Goalkeeper Kelleher needs more game time. He did good in the Europa League. He's still great goalkeeping, shot stopper. He took us all the way to the Carabao Cup final 2 years ago and won it with that incredible penalty. Keep him in this competition. He deserves the opportunity to be the starting keeper in this tournament. Left back Costa Simicas reward the new contract. Van Dijk needs to start. I'm a bit of a Van Dijk skeptic at the moment. I think his legs are starting to fade a little bit, but I do also think that there's still a great, great world class player there. We all know it. I know it. He knows it himself, and definitely Klopp does. But he needs the match fitness after being banned for a while. And I think against a quick Leicester team, it might just sort of spark him into action. Failing that, Canate. One of those two needs to start, because my other option is Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa should get experience against the championship side, because next season, if we bring in a centre back or we have options or injuries are limited or Matip stays, etc., Kwanzaa could easily be loaned to a championship club and get him that experience now of how hard it would be to play against those sides. Or it's against the Leicester side that might come up to the Premier League and Kwanzaa might feature more in the Premier League. So it's worth giving him that experience, and he looks physically imposing. And against someone like Madvidi, who's a very quick, very physical player, that is what you want in the side. Right back, I will be trying the Badge Stitch project again. It worked well in the LASK game. It seems like there's a plan there. Whether it's just temporary because of Trent's injury and Gomez needs rotation, I don't know. But it seemed to look really good, and I'd be giving it one more go just to see how we get on against a more formidable side. With no offence there to LASK, I just think Leicester are a more dangerous side. Defensive midfield, Endo needs the game time. given the opportunity in this match to really assert his character and dominance and show us what he can do. Make him the leader in the centre of the park and let him be the vocal force to command the team, tell them where to go in that area of the pitch. Next up, I'd be picking Gravenberch. I know he was a substitute in the West Ham game, which I thought was a little bit harsh considering how well he performed in the Europa League, that incredible assist and the energy he put on the pitch. Whether it was because of the knock he sustained, I don't know. But start him against Leicester. Start him in this game. It's a great opportunity for him. And against McAteer and Ndidi and Harry Winks and Dewsbury Hall, he's the physically imposing midfielder who's going to win that ball back and get at the opposition, and that's what we want. And then in the other central midfield role, I'd be giving Curtis Jones another opportunity. He's he's in the season now where I think it's make or break, and this is a game that he's used to. He scored against Leicester last season twice, so he knows what it's all about. He has good games, he has bad games. He needs to start proving now that he's consistent and being consistently put into this team. It's allowing McAllister and Szoboszlai to rest, especially Szoboszlai is going to be running non-stop all season. Give him the game time. Ben Doak will start on the right wing. Agree with that. I think of all the competitions, this is the one we maybe need to prioritise the least. I think Salah needs to recuperate, especially with Spurs coming up, which is going to be a big game. Um, in the middle, I would be playing Gakpo. Now, my reasoning for this might be a bit flawed, but we'll have to come with this. I think Vestergaard, being the tall player that he is and as imposing as he is, I think he's the one player who could maybe give Nunez trouble. Maybe he won't be able to keep up with him for pace. I agree with that, but he is too physically assertive as a presence is the word. And I think Nunez, this might be the one time he maybe gets a bit bullied off the ball at points. Whereas if you have Gakpo, who can come into midfield and create options for the wide players, they do not have a quick back line. Pereira is probably the quickest player they've got, but Fas and Vestergaard are slow. And if Gakpo is going to come in deep, win the ball, the wingers can invert, get in behind, and he can provide them with a great pass to give them options. Or alternatively, could score himself. He's a great player, and we know that he's capable of it. Overload the midfield, though, make it a 4-on-3 situation, and bully them in the centre of the park and create options for the players going forward. And then on left wing, Diogo Jota needs the game time, scored against West Ham. We can't keep playing Luis Diaz for risk of injury. He is an injury prone player, not excessively, but he does get a few knocks here and there. And I don't want to see him out for the Spurs game because he needs to start because I believe he will score in that game. So that is my predictions for the Liverpool Leicester game. My overall score prediction, I think I said it on the stream yesterday. I think it's going to end 2-2 and we're going to win on penalties. Big shout. I do see Leicester scoring first. I think every Liverpool fan is resigned to the fact that we're going to concede first. That's just normal at this point. And I do think that that is how this game will go. My two goal scorers, I think that Diogo Jota will score one. And you know what? I also think that Ben Doak, I think this will be his game. Similar to the Minamino game 2 seasons ago when it was the game where he really came into his own. I think this is Ben Doak's moment to shine. Thank you very much for watching. Another video will be out soon, and I hope you enjoy.